The blinding white light of the rift faded, and Nanda found herself deposited gently. She blinked, her vision clearing, as the residual hum of shifting energies faded from her fur. The oppressive weight of the Templar archive lifted, replaced by the familiar scent of parchment, beeswax, and old wood. She had returned to the castle, but the chamber she found herself in was unlike any she had seen before. The room was immense, its vaulted ceilings lost in shadow, the stone walls lined with towering bookshelves that seemed to stretch endlessly into the darkness. Ancient tomes, bound in leather and iron, filled the shelves, their titles whispering of forgotten lore and arcane knowledge. The air was thick with the scent of aged parchment, beeswax candles, and the polished wood of the grand table where a figure sat writing. A massive fireplace crackled at the far end of the chamber, casting flickering shadows that danced across the walls, illuminating intricate tapestries depicting scenes of mythical creatures and celestial events. The fire's warmth battled against the chill that emanated from the stone walls, creating a strange dichotomy of heat and cold that prickled Nanda's fur. A soft scratching sound broke the silence, a rhythmic whisper that echoed through the chamber. Nanda's sharp eyes found its source. A figure hunched over a massive tome at the far end of the room, his quill scratching diligently across the parchment. The firelight glinted off the bald pate of Jimmy G, his long white beard trailing onto the desk as he meticulously copied ancient symbols and diagrams from the book before him. His quill moved with a precision that belied the trembling of his gnarled hands, each stroke imbued with a lifetime of knowledge and wisdom. Jimmy G, Sir Lancelot's voice rang out, shattering the stillness like a thunderclap. His armored boots struck the floor with purpose as he strode into the room, his polished armor gleaming even in the dim light. Jimmy G looked up, startled at first, but his expression softened when his gaze fell upon Nanda. He closed his tome with a resonant thud, rising slowly from his chair. "Ah, Nanda," he said warmly, his voice a mixture of wisdom and wonder. "I've been expecting you." Nanda blinked, her tail flicking in surprise. "Expecting me? How could you possibly know I'd come here?" Jimmy G chuckled. "Sir Lancelot informed me of your unique abilities. He sensed your return to the castle and led me to this chamber." Nanda's confusion deepened as she took in the scene around her. How had Jimmy G come to be sitting here, as if no time had passed, when moments ago they had been surrounded by the chaos of the Templar archive? She had gone through the vortex together with him, but now he was here, completely settled. The difference between the overwhelming storm of energy they'd just fled from and this serene, scholarly room was dizzying. "But how?" Nanda began, her voice shaking slightly. "We left together, Jimmy G. I was with you right there in the portal. But now, you're here, calm as anything, while everything feels different. How did we end up here, and how much time has passed?" Jimmy G gave her a knowing smile, his eyes filled with that scholarly gleam. The labyrinth of time doesn't obey the rules of normal time. It bends, it shifts. One place may seem like an instant, while another stretches endlessly. For you, mere moments have passed, but here, in the castle, several days have passed since you left. He paused, considering her words. "We both left, yes, but the labyrinth has its own ways of moving us through time. We may have left together, but that doesn't mean we land in the same time frame." Nanda shook her head, trying to absorb the enormity of what he was saying. "Days? It felt like only moments. What? How is this even possible?" Jimmy G sighed, his expression softening. "The labyrinth weaves its own threads, Nanda. It shows not just the past or future, but different realities, paths, and choices. Some taken, others that could have been. We're not in one singular timeline. We're caught in the fabric of multiple possibilities, all merging and shifting around us." Nanda stood silent for a moment, processing. She had felt the vortex pull at her, and for a brief moment, she thought she was still with Jimmy G. But now, seeing him here, so settled, it was as if she had skipped entire chapters of time. "Wait," Lancelot interrupted, his deep voice laced with concern. "Are you saying she can control time? But how? And to what end?" Jimmy G's expression turned serious as he gestured toward a nearby chair. "Sit, all of you. There is much to discuss, and little time to do so." Lancelot lowered himself into the chair reluctantly, his gaze lingering on a tapestry depicting a beautiful woman with flowing golden hair. A wistful expression crossed his face, a hint of longing in his eyes. Guinevere, Nanda thought, recognizing the queen's likeness. He's doing all this for her. Nanda leaped onto the edge of the desk, her eyes fixed intently on Jimmy G. You've traveled far, Nanda, Jimmy G began, folding his hands as he spoke. But your journey is only beginning. The powers awakened within you by the golden scarab have set you on a path few can tread. Nanda's ears perked up. The golden scarab, she murmured, recalling the artifact's strange glow, the way time itself had seemed to warp and twist around her when she first encountered it in the depths of the Egyptian tomb. Yes, Jimmy G continued, nodding slowly. It was a key, unlocking your latent ability to step outside the linear constraints of time, to navigate the currents of history. But the Holy Grail, his voice lowered reverently, is far more than a mere relic. It is a wellspring of unimaginable power, a conduit to the very essence of time itself. Through it, you can master your newfound abilities, bend the river of time to your will, and shape the destiny of worlds. Nanda's whiskers twitched, but her expression remained thoughtful. She had already experienced the disorienting effects of time travel, the strange sensation of being untethered from the present, adrift in the currents of history. The Grail, it seemed, offered a way to control this power, to harness it for a greater purpose. Lancelot shifted in his chair, his gaze still fixed on the tapestry of Guinevere. This power, he began, his voice hesitant, could it be used to change the past, to undo the tragedies that have befallen us? Jimmy G nodded, his expression grave. The Grail holds that potential, Sir Lancelot. But such power comes with a heavy price. The consequences of altering time can be unpredictable, even disastrous. One must tread carefully when tampering with the threads of fate. He leaned closer, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. I know this from experience, you see. I have journeyed through time myself, witnessed the ebb and flow of history, and seen the devastating consequences of meddling with the past. Nanda's ears perked up, her curiosity piqued. You've time traveled? She asked, her voice filled with intrigue. But how? Jimmy G smiled mysteriously. I have my ways, Nanda. Ancient rituals, forgotten texts, and the guidance of spirits who dwell beyond the veil of time. He paused, his eyes twinkling with a hint of mischief. But that's a story for another time. He turned his attention back to the map spread out on the table before them. This map, he explained, tracing the lines with a gnarled finger, will lead you to the Grail. It is hidden within a nexus point, an intersection of time and space, a place where the boundaries between worlds become blurred. You must navigate the rifts, decipher the clues left behind by those who sought to protect it, and claim the Grail before it falls into the wrong hands. The map was an intricate tapestry of symbols and markings, a language Nanda didn't recognize, but felt resonating deep within her soul. She saw depictions of celestial bodies, astrological signs, and cryptic runes that seemed to pulse with a faint inner light. A sense of destiny washed over her, a feeling that her path was intertwined with the fate of the Grail, that she was destined to wield its power. Lancelot leaned closer, his eyes scanning the map with a focused intensity. Where does it lead? He asked, his voice filled with a mixture of hope and apprehension. Jimmy G traced a line with his finger, stopping at a point marked by a circle with a cross within it. To a place of ancient power, he said, his voice hushed with reverence. A place where the veil between worlds is thin, where the forces of time and magic converge. He looked at Nanda, his eyes filled with a deep knowing. It is a place you will recognize, Nanda. A place that calls to the very essence of your being. Nanda felt a shiver run down her spine, a premonition of a destiny she couldn't yet comprehend. The Grail, the nexus point, the ancient power. It all swirled within her mind, a whirlwind of possibilities and dangers. Suddenly the air grew heavy, and the library seemed to warp around them. The bookshelves shimmered, their titles blurring and shifting, the ancient tomes whispering secrets in forgotten languages. A low rumble echoed through the chamber, and Nanda felt the familiar tugging sensation of an impending temporal shift. The anomaly is close, Jimmy G said, his voice taking on a sense of urgency. This time it feels different, Nanda. It's not just a random jump through time. This anomaly leads to a place of great significance, a place where the threads of your destiny converge. Lancelot rose to his feet, his hand resting on the hilt of his sword. "We're with you, Nanda. Lead the way." Nanda nodded, her heart pounding with a mixture of anticipation and trepidation. As the vortex of light began to swirl around them, she steeled her nerves and prepared to face whatever awaited them on the other side. The Grail, she knew, was calling her, and she would answer its call, no matter the dangers that lay ahead.